Before I live the life of power. Top of the food chain, all the rest is devour. Heard your video drop the month ago and I ain't heard ya. The AP drop, it's murder, 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 murder.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the lat press down, and we have it set up on this small cable machine. For me, I have it set at the highest point. If we're on the bigger cable machine, we're going to have it set, for me, 1 or 2 lower than the highest point, but this is going to be good enough for me. We're also going to use this bar. The reason that we're going to use this bar is because it contours to the hand a lot easier than if we had a straight bar. So when we go through some of the cues, you'll see why this is a little bit more beneficial. We have 32.5 pounds on the rack. Nothing serious. A lot of people use this exercise as a warm-up. Some people use it as a finisher. Some people put it in the middle of their exercise. Doesn't matter where you put it in your training. It just matters how you perform it. Now, 2 things that we want to avoid when performing this wrong. 1, pulling into the upper back muscles. And I see this quite a bit. We have people who start here, everything looks good, and then all of a sudden, we're pulling here. We're doing some weird row thing like we're doing a standing seated row or something of that nature. That's something we want to avoid. What I also see is people pushing down and out, and we do something like this. I don't know. It looks weird. It's not right. It's not what we're trying to target in our training. So to get set up with this, again, we're going to grab the bar on the ends that are curving out. We're going to take a step back, all right, so that we get the weight off of the stack, and we're going to hip hinge. We're going to push our hips back. My hands are slightly above shoulder height, all right? This is shoulder height, slightly above shoulder height. If I'm standing up straight, this is what it looks like. I'm going to take a step back, hip hinge, push my hips back, close the dresser drawer if you know that cue from other videos, and we're going to turn our elbows down. So right now my elbows are out, kind of pointing towards the camera. What I want to do is rotate them down slightly. All right, so hips are back, feet are planted. I'm going to rotate them slightly, and I'm going to press down towards the ground, pressing down, 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 and that's going to pull my hands in towards my hips. My chest is upright, and the more I go down, the closer I get to my legs, the more I want to squeeze my lats. I want to intentionally squeeze my lats. I don't want it to happen passively. I want to squeeze, 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 squeeze from the furthest point, and then we're going to slowly release. We're going to keep squeezing while releasing, but we're going to slowly release. Squeeze, 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 release and squeeze, release and squeeze, release and squeeze. Keeping those lats under tension for as long as possible. As long as possible. That's what we want to do. All right, now, if I were to perform this exercise while standing up straight, it would be the same thing, right? Same thing. It will look very much similar. But the point is, for the hip hinge, is to get a little more distance on the lats, all right? Hip hinge gives me a little more distance on the lats, a little more stretch in the lats. That's one of the things we do in a contraction. Muscle contraction is we stretch and contract. Now, if I were to do one of these that I see people do in the gym, I'm not getting any lat contraction until I get all the way almost to the end, right? If I were to stand up straight, this is where I'm at. It's not where I want to be, all right? So we don't want to go too far, and we don't want to go too short is what I'm trying to say. So grab that bar, turn the elbows down, take that step back, hip hinge, close the dresser drawer, start squeezing from the beginning, and squeeze all the way to the end, all right? And that's how we target the lats instead of the upper delts, rhomboids, and other muscle groups when doing the lat press now, all right? Thank you for joining us, and I'll see you at the next video.
Mr. Push, push. We up in focus. We talk. Push, push.
For coaching, clothing, programs, www.aphhealthnutrition.com.